Hello, this is Bobby at Sharp LC Repair, and it is Wednesday today. I believe I started this return series on Monday with another board that was returned functional, with a statement that it wasn't. It's Wednesday, and here's another one, even though I believe those two arrived together. This is a Sharp LC-55UB30U power supply board. A word that was returned, let's go with that, as doesn't work or defective was what the buyer, you can see their username, not that it matters, but that's what they said. Doesn't work or defective. And I don't know if this buyer knows, and I don't know if you know, but when you tell to eBay that the product that you are returning it doesn't work or is defective, then the seller is responsible for shipping costs, not only backward but also forward. Not only forward but also backward. In other words, you get a board that, as long as you tell eBay, hey, that doesn't work, you can basically test for free whether that's the board that you need to replace in your TV, and that is something that I'm sure works quite well with a lot of users. It also works well with eBay because they have nothing to lose, but it doesn't work well with vendors because they're sponsoring people experimenting and trying whether something works or not. So eBay, in order to fight that situation and this unfairness for the sellers, is asking buyers, show us why it doesn't work, and confuse that, not confuse, confirm somehow that it really doesn't work. So what they do is they ask buyers, show us that it doesn't work, and this is the proof. There is a picture of something that doesn't work. Now you tell me, if you have some brain, whether you can tell by that picture what doesn't work and why. Is it this? Is it that? Or is it something else that you don't see quite up here? You just have a picture. What's more interesting is that that picture is not actually even of our board. This is our board. When we bought them, that was 10 years ago, we bought a whole truckload, and some companies buy many truckloads. We were experimenting back then. We got a whole truckload with TVs from national retailer, broken screens, brand new in boxes. We dismantled all of them. We numbered all of them. So every single board that comes out of TV, and there are listings you can find on eBay and on our website that still have those numbers. This comes from TV number 263. And all the boards inside that TV will be labeled the same way. If you look at the listing here, oh, come on, close that. If you look at the listing, let's find the listing. The listing will have that or another board, shows the picture, that will also have a number on it, and it's going to be different. This is board 273. This is just to illustrate what I'm talking about and to confirm it. So 263 and 273 were the same type of television. That is quite often when you get a large bunch of them. And they were probably the only two because I see we have listed just two. So we have two of those boards. I still haven't shown you that it does work, but what I'm saying is that eBay's way of handling something that doesn't work is very poor. Show us a picture. And the buyer sends a picture that's not even the real picture of the board that is not working, which is this one that we sent them. It's just a picture of their TV with a board inside not working. And of course they don't pay anything. Now, why the board is working? Well, because it comes from a brand new TV and it was properly handled. How do we know that it is working? How you should know that it's... I have tons of videos that show how to test boards. You basically find that connector there that gives the output that has standby voltage. Every board has one little power that is called standby power. That is basically very minor portion of that board that powers very minor portion of the main board, which is the brain of the TV. It's called standby power. It's usually 5 or 3.3 volts, and you can usually find it on one of the connectors labeled like plus 5 volts standby. That plus 5 ESB is what it is. And what you want to do is you want to measure the voltage between something that is ground, and that's a good one, and the standby voltage, which is one of those pins. There are 3 of them, right? Yeah, the bottom 3, as you can see here. 1, sorry, it's kind of hard. 1, 2, 3. So the first 3 pins. I'm taking the second. I will explain what that jumper does in a second. And here you go, 5.3 volts. Now to start the board, to wake it up, to tell it, which is what the main board tells it when you press a button and says, I want you to work, and give me my viewing pleasure. It sends back those 5 volts, or 3.3 sometimes. It sends them back to another pin here, which is usually called PS on the boards, but different manufacturers display creativity, and this one is called remote on off. It is the first, second, third, fourth pin from top to bottom. And when you power it on, the very first thing that happens majorly is the voltage, the rectified voltage from the input, the AC input, jumps from 160 volt, which is 110 rectified by 1.4, thanks to that circuit here called power factor correction circuit. In addition to power factor correcting, it also multiplies the voltage by roughly 2. So what it does is raises the voltage to about 380 volts, which is what you saw for a second. And it doesn't float like it is now. The reason this one is floating is because some power boards require load in order to work properly. Load will say the main board that is connected here, it drains some juice, and only when it drains some juice this will behave properly. This can be emulated by using a resistor of various value, and the load may be required on different output circuit, different output rails. For example, this one has apparently 5 volts standby, but it also has plus 12 volts. And it turns out that in order to get this to be stable, what you need to do is you need to load it, and this is like 22 ohm power resistor. You need to load, forgive my nails, I was doing, if you see them there, I was doing until half an hour ago work outside the building that we own and occupy, and I'm full of silicone and dirt and stuff like that. Sorry about that. So what you need to do here is you need to load the 5 volts standby to ground, and that's a little difficult, so I'm going to pause here, attach this, and then go and show you steady measure of the PFC circuit. Okay, so this is the resistor here that is between ground. This is grounded, that metal plate where the screw goes up, and it's stuck to the 5 volt standby. It is between my jumper cable that signals the board, and that is, it's telling it to wake up, and the next pin, which is also 5 volt standby, as you can tell. And if I take the measure now, on here you will, you will notice that it's holding 387 volts solid, which is quite okay. It can be 386, 7, 8, 9, 90, stable there. Another stable voltage, another 2 stable voltage outputs that we will have will be the 12 volts. Let's see where they are. So some of the grounds and some of the 1225 solid. And this 18 volts, oh, it's not here, but the upper 12 volts, they probably are the same, and they should be in place. Let's see. Do I get them well? There you go. 12 volts here, 12 volts here. So this board is working fine, is the long story that I'm trying to convey. That's not all of it. It has more to be tested that I'm not doing because it's going to be a little trickier. But this is pretty much all there is to it. What's left is the LED driver that's on the board. LED drivers fail very rarely. I'm not saying they never do, but it is very rare. Oh, this guy has gotten warmer. and this is like 99% proof. It's not 100, but anyone who is doing TV repairs will tell you that's quite enough. So I'm going to submit that and say this board is working and treat it as a return of a working board and change of heart, not as a board doesn't work. People, please don't say that something doesn't work just because your whole TV doesn't work. I believe your whole TV doesn't work, but we vendors, or at least some of us, are good at what we do. We know what we're selling, and this is a working board. Thank you.